What we're going to do is we're going to look at the lists and contacts section, and we're just going to take a look at what email addresses we've got and what kind of contact information we've got for our subscribers. So the way to do that is to click on lists and contacts on the left hand side and then select manage. So within this section you can see that I've already imported a mailing list, and we've got some data shown. So we've got the first names of the subscribers. If I click on one of the subscribers, we can actually see what further information we've got. So we've got the first name highlighted there, we've got the city, and we've got the gender, and then we've got the family down there as well. So you can obviously import as much data as you want regarding your contacts, just bearing in mind that that data can then be used to insert as personalization into your newsletters, or it can also be used for segmentation to actually separate that mailing list into different groups, so they're more targeted, and obviously the emails that you're sending can be more relevant to those groups. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. So the way to do that is you've got segmentation on the left at the bottom there, and I'm going to click on the green plus sign to create a new segment. So within this section here, the first thing that we're seeing is that we've got the contacts data set there, so we can actually choose whichever data set we want. The next option that we've got is the mailing list. So if you've got any specific mailing lists that you want to include or that you don't want to include, then you can use the drop-down menu for that there. So if I just quickly change those, so the contacts data set is fine, and you've obviously got the different ones. So if I just want to include the new mailing list that I created, and what we can do here is we can change the where of the queries. So this is going to be where the city is equal to. You do have other options there, so you can change it, but I'm just going to leave it as equal to, and then here I'm going to put in Newcastle. So that can be one preview. So if we quickly preview the results here, let's scroll down, we can see that it's got a number of different contacts, we've got a number of different first names, and if I scroll along, we can see that they're all based in Newcastle just there. And also what we've got is we've got the gender, but we can see the gender is actually mixed because we do have a female in that group. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually segment it even more so we can actually exclude that female there. So what I'm going to do is tick this little box to say that I want to include this option as well. You do have the option to select or, so if you've got different priorities, if you want it to be a certain thing or another, then you can do that. I'm going to leave it as and I'm going to change that over to the gender, and I'm going to say is equal to, and then just male in there. I'm going to update the preview results so then we can see that information presented down below. So we can see the group is shorter, and if we go along to the right there, we can see it is all genders is male, and also we can see the city is all Newcastle. So that's a very simple way to actually segment that group. So if we had any offers that are located specifically to people in Newcastle, whether it's a Newcastle store or if it's an activity that's based in and around Newcastle. And also what we can do is we can actually target the email in terms of it being mail, so we might want to put mail products, mail activities, and then obviously just any color schemes or anything that we think will go well with that group. So further down here we can actually save our results. So you do have different options here. The first one is to save it as a segment, so that's just the first one there. What that will do is if you save it as a segment is it will save in your account, and it means that anybody that you add in or any new subscribers that you get, if they fit into the criteria that you've set, so this one is males and within the Newcastle area, then they'll automatically be added into the mailing list when you go to send to it. So it just means that you can include as many people in that group as possible. The other option is the second one, to save it as a mailing list. So if you've got a mailing list already set up, then you can use that. Or you can actually type in a new mailing list down there as well. The only thing with that is it will be static, so the people that you've got in your list at the moment, those are the only people that you're going to be sending to, rather than if you save it to a segment, which is the first option there, which is what I'm going to do. That will include obviously anybody else that you import or that subscribes. So I'm just going to do that there, and I'm going to save it down at the bottom. So we're going to save that, and I'll show you exactly where it displays. So you can see now that we've got this little group down here. So we've got a segment of males in Newcastle. So whenever we click on that group, it's going to actually display which ones are in there. So as I said earlier, you can see how many people you're going to be contacting before you actually send it out. So that's the segmentation tool section shown. The other feature that we've got within the list and contacts area is the list cleanup tool. So if I click on that link on the left there, so what this does is it allows us to actually clean up our list. So if you've got any new addresses that you've collected, or even some old addresses that you haven't sent to in a short while, then you might want to use the list cleanup, because what that'll do is it'll actually try to send out an email, not intended to be delivered, but it will try and send an email out to see if there is anything that's going to receive that email. So it basically gets rid of any bad email addresses for you, and it'll give you a report of the likelihood of the engagement that you're going to get. So you can see here it is very cheap to use. So the price on the 18 contacts is only £2. So over here, when you're talking thousands, it's going to be £1.25 per thousand. And then when you get up to the bigger amount of contacts that you've got, then obviously it does reduce in price per thousand there as well. So it's a very good tool to use if, as I say, if you haven't sent to a mailing list in a while, or if you've got any that you've collected over time, or obviously any that you've maybe written by hand, or customers that have given you it over the desk. There are going to be spelling mistakes, there's going to be different things like that. So if you can eliminate the bad email addresses before you actually send, it will help to keep the reputation of the IP good, and obviously your delivery score will be a lot better within your account as well. So moving on, we're just going to move on to emails here. So I'm going to click on emails on the left hand side, and what I'm going to do with the information that I've got, I know I've got first name and I've got other things, data for that subscribers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just insert that as personalization. So if I go to my emails, what I can do within this area is I can select an email that I've created previously. So if I click on the tick box there, and I'm going to click on edit. So this is going to take us into the editor to edit this newsletter, and what we're going to do is we're going to insert personalization. Okay, so we're in the editor now. This is one of the free templates that you have access to. So one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm just going to insert a content block. So if I just click on the copy block, and I'm going to just copy it down below, what I'm going to do is going to go into this block here, and I'm going to delete the image, and within here I can start typing my text. So I'm going to say dear, and then within this area here you can actually insert the personalization. So the way to do that would be to click on Personalize on the left-hand side there, and you've got Personalization. So if I click on that one there, you've then got the subscriber details. So you can actually insert the subscriber details up there, or you can go to your own details. I'm going to just go to the subscriber ones, and I'm going to insert the first name. So you can see how it's highlighted. That just means that the personalization tag has been inserted, and then you don't really need to do anything else. Obviously, you can put in more information rather than just the first name. You might have the location, or you might have the last product that they bought. and so on. So you can use the information and the data that you collect from your subscribers to try and make the newsletters more relevant, to try and explain to them within a short space that you have obviously used data that you've collected to try and make it more relevant to them as well. So if I just close this down here, so I'm going to click on the X at the very top right. I'm going to save and close. Okay, so this is taking us out of the editor. So now what we need to do is we need to make sure that the personalization that I inserted is working correctly. So what we can do to find that out is obviously we can send a test to ourselves, but before doing that we can actually just look at the preview. So if I click on Send on the left hand side there and select Preview, what you need to do is you need to make sure that the mailing list at the top there is selected to the right one that you've got, and also that the folder and obviously the newsletter is selected correctly there as well. So if I just change it to the new mailing list that we've created, so that's the new mailing list there. So we can see that the example one at yourdomain.co.uk is the person that we're using as an example here. And also you can see further down there that the personalization is working just there as well. So that's great. So obviously that is working fine. If we go to next, we can see that that personalization will actually change over to a different name. So we can see that obviously it's showing up as Richard this time, and that's because the information at the top there, the email address has changed over to something else. So that's an easy way to actually check if the personalization is working correctly for you. And then obviously, as I said earlier, you can send yourself a test. There are options on the left-hand side there to obviously test it more thoroughly. As we're talking about testing, the other advanced feature that I would suggest that you use before you get anywhere near sending out your email is to actually make sure that it looks okay in the different email clients that your subscribers may be using. So the way to do that is to click on Inbox Preview. Now within this area you can create a new test, a new preview for one of your newsletters. All paying accounts can do this for free, so you can create as many as you want. And what this will do is it will actually show you how your email looks in different email clients. So all you do is click on the new preview there, you select the folder and the email, and then just give it a subject line such as testing, and then just send that off. So you'll see that's actually sending off, and it'll be pending for a short while. Once it's complete, it will then say complete like the one below. So what we're going to do is just have a look at the one that's completed. So if you click on the magnifying glass on preview, as you can see, it shows you different versions of Outlook. It shows you Gmail, AOL, Apple Mail and that type of thing, so you can actually see that it's working fine for all of them. Of course, what you might want to do is look at it in a larger view. So all you do is hover over whichever email client you would like to view in a larger screen, click on it, and as you can see here, we've got the Outlook version, and it's a lot bigger, and we can go down and make sure that every little section in there is looking okay. So as that looks okay, we can close it, and then we can go back to the overview. And we can start sending a test to ourselves, or what we can do is we can just move on to actually sending it out to the mailing list there. So the other options that we've got, the more advanced features, is we've got the autoresponders. So if I click on autoresponders on the left hand side there, what you'll see is we've got the different types of autoresponders. So the first one is the option to send an email when someone subscribes. So that's just the first one there. So what that will do, as I said, it'll send an email when someone subscribes to your mailing list. Now, some good advice to put into that email is to ask the recipient to add the from email address as a trusted sender. You might also want to give them the incentive that you may have had on your website to subscribe. So if you were advertising 10% off or whatever like that, you can put that information obviously within that email there. The other options that we've got is we've got the option to schedule an autoresponder. So sometimes people will be out of the office, such as holidays, so you can actually get the system to send the email automatically for you on a particular date and time. The next one that we've got is send a follow-up email when someone opens your newsletter. So if you know someone's interested in an offer that you've got going on, say if the offer has a limited time period, if you send it on a Monday and it ends on Friday, what you might want to do is set up the system to actually email those that opened the email and just email them again on Wednesday to say that the offer is running out very shortly, and try and entice them to obviously take a look at further products and obviously make a purchase at that time. The click autoresponder that we've got, again very similar to the opens. This can be more specific on what actions the recipients actually take. So within your email you might have a link that relates to a certain product. If someone clicks on that link to go onto your website, what you might want to do is send them another email. It can be sent immediately, or you can delay it for a number of hours or a number of days. And that email can then show them more products of a similar nature, maybe give them an incentive or more detailed view of what the product is, and then just try and entice them again to obviously make the purchase. You've got the happy birthday and anniversary emails down there as well. So obviously everybody likes to have an email about saying happy birthday and if any offers that you've got going on. But bear in mind that if it is somebody's birthday, you might want to send them an email before it to give them an idea of what sort of presents they might want, or just after the birthday you might send them an email to advertise more expensive products, as they're more than likely going to have some extra money there to actually spend. So you've got that option there to actually use. And the final one that we've got is the unsubscribe email there as well. So this email is very important because some people might unsubscribe in error. So if you send them an email when someone unsubscribes, you can say it and give them an option to subscribe again. And also what you might want to do is include options to allow them to follow your company elsewhere. So if they're not interested in receiving an email, they might be interested in social media. So they might want to follow you on Facebook or follow you through Twitter. So there is every opportunity to actually get them, rather than just losing them completely, there is an opportunity there to actually get them to follow you in a different route. The other options that we've got on the left-hand side under Send is the A/B testing tool. Now what this does is it allows you to test different subject lines or different newsletters. So if I open up the new test, you can see here, so if we give it a test name, so we're going to say a test here, and what we've got at the top is we've got the email newsletters, or we've got the newsletter subject line. So we can test different newsletters. So if you're going to test the newsletters, you might want to test maybe having buttons rather than links. You might want to have more of images in one email and more text in the other, or different layouts, or maybe try one of the responsive free templates that we've got to see if that makes a difference in sort of clicks that you get through rather than just the opens. You can look into more detail. Also, if you've got different designs, if you're using personalization in there, or if you're using different color schemes, so there are a lot of opportunities to actually test your email rather than just sending a standard email out to everybody. The other option that you've got is to actually test the subject lines. So in here you can test subject line A and subject line B. So if I'm going to use those two as an example, what you can do further down is you can actually select the folder. You've got the option to select the email, the from name and from email address that you're going to be using, obviously who you're going to be sending it to, and then you've got the date and time. But more importantly, down at the bottom there, you've got the percentage of the mailing list that you're going to send to, so the percentage that you're testing it on, and also the winner by. So if you're going to use the subject lines, then the obvious option there is to select the winner by the most opens. If you're going to select the email newsletters, so if you're going to test different designs, then the other option there is mainly just to test it against the most clicks. So anybody that whichever newsletter design gets the most clicks will then be sent across to the rest of the mailing list. Now at the bottom here you can see that it can be done automatically or it can do it manually, and also you've got the opportunity to change the amount of that it's going to compare against. So you can have it compare the results after 2, 6, 12, 24 or 48 hours. So it's entirely up to yourself. It doesn't need to be a test that takes very long. You can just send it out, leave it 4 hours there, or 6 hours, sorry, and then just see how the results go. So that's mainly the testing and the sending options covered there. The other options that we've got within the account is actually the social side of it. So if we go down to social here, we can actually go to social share. And what we can do within here is you can add different connections that you want. So you might want to add a connection to Facebook or LinkedIn. And in this area, we can actually share the newsletter that we want. So if I click on share a newsletter or share an email, we've got the option to select whatever email we want, and we can put the publisher as GraphicMail or your company name. And then we can put in the comments. So if you want to try and entice people to actually open up the newsletter on your Twitter or on your Facebook, then you can use this opportunity here just to try and give them an enticement. Once you've put in the information in there, you can actually tick whichever ones you want to share it on. So this example would be shared on Twitter, and then obviously the followers that we've got can view it on there as well. So the way to publish it is just to click on the publish icon there, and then that's it, that's done. And it just means that your followers can obviously look at the email that you're sending out, maybe give them an example of these are the emails that we're sending out, maybe sign up to our mailing list. Or what you might want to do as well, keep in mind that if you're sharing a newsletter online, then it is a good idea to actually insert a subscribe option in that newsletter somewhere. So those that are actually viewing it can sign up quite easily using one of the links and quickly sign up to your mailing list so they receive future emails. The other options that we've got further down here which relate to social is we've got the actual social browser widget. So that's just in send, and then you just go down to set up browser widget, and in here you can actually have it display a browser widget when someone views your email online. So in the browser, this widget will appear, and it means that you can have them to share the newsletter on Facebook. They can like it. They can also post comments and also subscribe. So I'm going to quickly show you what it looks like. So you can see on this email here we've got the share options, so you can using a sign up form or using the social icons you can actually share it. You've also got the comment section there, so if you're logged into Facebook you can add a comment in about the newsletter. You've got the translate as well option there, and more importantly you've got the subscribe options down there. So people can subscribe via Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and also they can subscribe by email down at the bottom there as well. So this is a really good widget to have. It obviously gives people another opportunity to share your newsletter with their friends, their followers. It obviously gives you an opportunity to get a wider audience that's seeing it. So if I go back to the account, the final advanced feature that I'm going to show you is actually on the home page. So if we go back to the home page here, so on this home page, you've got the news and activity of the recent actions that you've done within the account. So if you've sent an email out, or in this example, you can see we've sent a test. We've added a connection as well. And also you've got the My Account details, so you've got how many send credits you've got left within the account. But the one I want to show you is actually the social icon down at the bottom. So this is a little option here. So any text within here will be displayed on your social network. So all you do, if you want to share it, is you click the icon to share it on Twitter. If you haven't got Twitter, then you can actually go back to the social area and sign up and add a connection to Twitter. You can add a connection to Facebook at this point as well. So it means that you can actually share your posts directly to Facebook and Twitter at the same time. And all you do is click share, and then that's it. That's it done for you. So you don't actually have to leave the GraphicMail account to post, to set up statuses for obviously Twitter and Facebook. So that's a very quick overview of the advanced features that are within the GraphicMail account.